Pardon me while I have a strange interlude.
There is nothing else. Life is an obscure hobo bumming a ride on the omnibus of art.
Along the misty corridors of time, and in those corridors I see figures, strange figures.
Welcome back, my friends, to the AP Strange Show. I am your host, AP Strange. This is my show, and this week's show is brought to you by Griffin's Invisibility Serum. If you want to be invisible and you want an easily administered dose of something to make you invisible, Griffin's is the stuff for you. Just be aware that it comes with the side effects of possible megalomania, a tendency towards nudity, and fits of uncontrollable maniacal laughter. So if you don't mind those side effects, check out Griffin's and you can be invisible with the best of them. And tonight on the show, we have a double feature of our Third Time's a Charm funness that we do periodically on the show, and we're going way back in the vaults for some old movies for this one because with my guest tonight, I wanted to do a Universal movie and a third Universal movie, and they're short enough and fun enough that we can fit two in one episode.
Yeah.
So on tonight's show, I have an old friend of mine. We've known each other about 20 years at this point, and he's an actor, a poet, a tour guide at the Lizzie Borden House, and also a historical researcher and content writer for the Lizzie Borden House, and an old school monster kid as well, and now a monster old man. Welcome to the show, Ryk McIntyre.
Hey, thanks for having me. And for getting me to watch those old movies again. That's always a kick.
Yeah. I mean, I thought of you for a Universal one because, I mean, is it fair to say you were a monster kid? Did you read like famous monsters of film?
Oh, I loved
like that?
any Saturday that I had an excuse to stay in and watch Creature Double Feature.
Right. Yeah. Did you have a favorite of the original Universal?
Well, I loved Frankenstein, but then I saw Godzilla and that was, it.
Yeah.
But oh, and King Kong was the first movie I remember weeping at the end of as a kid.
Yeah.
Leave him alone. He just wants to help the girl, Stop shooting him. And
Yeah.
then,
Well, the giant monsters are, it's hard to beat those. What about wasn't there like a Godzilla versus Frankenstein's monster?
the Japanese, I think, did a kind of giant Frankenstein. They ran with a bunch of movies
Yeah.
with Frankenstein, but
Yeah.
anyway, do you want to go in chronological order or ladies first? Either way, we would start with Invisible Woman.
I think it's a good idea to start there. Yeah. Invisible Woman. This one's great in a way because I didn't even know about it growing up, and I had no idea it was part of the franchise at all, and it's not even in the Universal Monsters box set.
Yeah, actually, the one I have, it is.
Oh, weird. Okay.
It's very out of tone of a lot of the other movies because it's just wacky from start to finish.
Yeah, they went for more of a screwball comedy with this one. So, following on the heels of The Invisible Man Returns, which I think was Vincent Price's first horror movie starring role.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Where more of the Invisible Man as misunderstood hero,
Yeah,
and they gave that one a happy ending.
yeah. Because I mean, the Invisible Man is one of those monsters that you really they hadn't really figured out a way to bring him back from the dead, so they just did
No,
a the serum is the thing that unites the first one and the second one,
yeah,
and is absent in the third one, which as
yeah.
successful.
They don't even reference the first two in the third movie. It's just um, John Barrymore in one of his frankly greatest roles ever. Never mind his 1922 Hamlet. He is just the best thing about that movie.
He's hamming it up. Um, and
Absolutely.
he has a different way of making people invisible with a big machine. So uh,
Yeah, yeah. Which if you use but don't have the formula, just makes your voice very high.
apparently, yeah,
So I also love the fact in that movie that when the mobster sends his henchmen to steal the machine, somehow they have the wherewithal to like now make notes as you take it apart so I can diagram it and we can put it
yeah.
back together. I just thought that was like a sure, that makes sense that he would know that.
Well, I think one of the hired goons was there specifically because he had at least a little bit of mechanical know-how.
Must have been.
And Shemp was the muscle. So for listeners, Shemp Howard, famously of the Three
Yeah,
Stooges, is in this movie.
pretty much as Shemp Howard. He's not really at all different. And I can't remember exactly what it is, but there's one line he gives in that movie that is like straight from the Three Stooges shorts.
Yeah. You know,
So
I think it would have been better if the three henchmen were just the Three Stooges. That would have been great.
that would have been awesome.
But at this
Um,
point in Stooges history, it's this is 1940, and Shemp
right.
didn't join back up with the Stooges for another 4 or 5 years. I think 46 he was back in. So
Gotcha.
uh, yeah.
I was trying to make that film career work.
Well, he did all right. I mean, he was in like Fatty Arbuckle movies, which apparently didn't have a future for people that know old time Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't pay to stick with Fatty. Um,
Nope.
he was in some Abbott and Costello movies,
Well,
W.C.
good.
Fields. Yeah,
Good.
yeah, the good old Shemp, the ugliest man in Hollywood. So
And if you're known for something and it gets you women, good for Shemp.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, from what I understand, when he was in the Abbott and Costello ones, he was playing opposite Joe Besser. They were kind of a duo in those in Africa Screams and the one where they joined the Foreign Legion, I think.
Okay, I'll have to watch
Uh,
those again sometime.
but they trimmed down the scenes that had Shemp and Joe in it because they were too funny and they were afraid that it would detract from
Overshadow the
yeah, yeah, stealing the thunder of Abbott and Costello. So
sad.
yeah, yeah.
So what else? Um, I like the I'm trying to remember the butler's name. Hold on just a second. Foghorn. Foghorn, who is played by Donald McBride.
Okay. Yeah.
He's just the one that's habitually like ready to quit. And I've given my notice, sir.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
The
when I
butler.
start paying you again, I'm gonna give you a raise. Oh, well, then I'll reconsider. You know,
Yeah.
the man just has no spine, and you know,
Well, yeah. Um, he's very easily motivated by money, but he's also very
right,
easily outraged. And
and outthought too.
right.
You know,
So
hey, you got a light, buddy? Yeah, let me put this gun down. Person on the other side of the fence.
yeah, right. So Carradine's scientist is less of the mad variety and more of the kooky, I think. You know,
Barrymore,
um,
you mean?
Barrymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, he definitely is, and he's the comic relief throughout the movie.
Right.
As she's knocking mobsters out, he goes, "That's strike one,"
Right.
breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. And then of course you have the rich playboy that's financing the experiments in the
Right,
hopes
because
that,
why would that? Because that's what rich playboys did back then.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, I think this is part of what makes it fail as a madcap comedy. And horror movies did this a lot back in the day too, where they tried to make the centerpiece the unlikely love story between the
Yes,
invisible woman and the playboy, right?
right.
So,
Which, is not unlikely. You see that coming from the beginning of the movie, the way they instantly bicker,
right, exactly.
you
They
know.
fight at first, so they're going to wind up together. Um, but I mean, I think that really ruins otherwise good movies where it's almost like the writers really believed that we cared that much about the love story, and we're just everything else is
It
like White
was
Zombie is a great
mandatory in
example.
those movies back then, it seems,
Yeah,
almost.
I always felt that way about White Zombie because it's a perfectly good movie about Bela Lugosi and zombies and stuff, and
Yep,
but that but there's so hangs so much on these two characters getting back together and the comic
sure.
relief. Yeah. Um, and the later Marx Brothers movies were kind of like that too, where the Marx Brothers were like ancillary characters, and there would be,
Right, trying to get the
yeah,
two main characters back together or
right,
together.
right, yeah. So, but this one has kind of like I don't know, would you say it makes like a feminist statement? I'm not sure, but the woman is getting back at her boss for being cruel.
Yeah, and she fights for the rights of the working women,
Yeah,
which is like happens early in the movie, and then that's just sort of it.
right. Yeah, because they're modeling clothing.
Yep,
I guess for prospective customers, they have to come out dressed in the gowns or whatever.
yep.
But the boss is a real taskmaster, so she has to come back and haunt him invisibly to make him treat people better.
Literally kick his ass, which
Yeah,
makes him instantly reform and be a nice guy. Um, and then they drop that storyline. Um, and you got
right.
the nicest, and gentlest thugs who kidnap them.
Mhm. Yeah, right.
Um, oh, and we haven't even mentioned Margaret Hamilton
Oh,
as the
right. Yeah,
scientist's maid. It's nice to see her.
yeah. She gets locked in a closet.
Yeah,
What?
that's mostly it. And she
Uh,
has comments to make about a naked female.
right. Well, I mean, that is one serious drawback about invisibility is that you have to be nude for it to work. Uh,
Sue Storm of the Invisible, I mean, of the Fantastic Four seems to make it work. So I think what we
yeah,
really have with the rest of these people are admitted exhibitionists, but they're
right.
also very afraid, so they only become exhibitionists when they're invisible.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. There's probably some psychology that you could dig into with that whole.
Yeah, well, they use that trope in Mystery Men, the
Oh
Ben
yeah.
Stiller movie with that one character who's only invisible when nobody's looking at him.
Oh yeah. Right. Um,
But he also has to get naked to be invisible.
yeah. All right.
So,
That makes
which,
sense. Did you see the newer Invisible Man movie that they made?
was that the one in with Kevin Bacon?
No, newer than that. I think it was
Oh no, I
2020.
haven't seen that one. The one with Kevin Bacon that must have been like 2000 or so, 1990s.
Right.
Very uh they threw in a rape scene,
Right.
to make sure that you knew that the serum was driving him mad.
Ah, right, right.
So,
Okay.
um,
It was a lot more subtle with, well, I guess not subtle. Subtle's not the right word with Claude Rains' Invisible Man performance, but well, the more recent one is the guy is pretty sadistic. I mean, it's a story of like an abusive partner, so the whole thing
right,
works as
right.
like an allegory for that. But he has an invisibility suit, so he doesn't have to be naked. The suit is what makes him invisible. So, right, that it's a whole different tech angle.
Well,
But
good, good, good. I'm
yeah.
so glad they worked that out.
Yeah.
Also,
Um,
I personally like the fact that when she gets drunk, the formula, uh, uh, she can't turn visible again because
right.
of the alcohol, or the alcohol effect. Yeah, the alcohol makes the serum either last longer, or when she's visible, she defeats the crooks by getting drunk
Right. Right.
and being invisible. So it's um, leads to the scene at the very end when uh, they've gotten together, and it must be at least a year later because she has a baby, or a little more than that actually. Um, and they're giving the baby an alcohol rub, and the baby turns invisible.
Yeah. Right.
John Barrymore looks at the camera and says, "Hmm, hereditary."
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 1940 movie. I don't know when Lost Weekend came out, but it just seems like a, a nod to alcoholism. Um,
Well, yeah. I mean, see, that also seems very inconvenient. If you could be
mhm.
invisible, but you had to be impaired to be invisible,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, they never quite explain that, but it's again, it's like having a machine that turns people invisible. You just have to be injected with something, and then my machine works.
right.
And they
And if you're
never,
injected with the wrong thing, it makes your voice high. So,
right, right.
yeah.
So,
Um,
but she,
yeah,
but she stays sane through the whole thing, so that's good.
that is good.
And
Yeah.
now her baby apparently is able to turn invisible whenever it encounters alcohol. So
Yeah. That's going to be a tough life to
they
navigate,
never
I
made a
think.
sequel out of that. That's
But
seems.
they didn't. I mean, it's like I said, this seems like there are two more Invisible Man sequels after this.
Yeah,
Revenge of the Invisible Man. I think that's the last one. And I forget. I don't think I've seen the fourth one. So,
there's an Abbott and Costello meet the Invisible Man.
oh yeah, that's what it
Even
would
he
be.
gets
Sorry.
an Abbott and Costello
Right.
movie, and our next
Yeah, our next movie doesn't.
well,
So,
next movie thing he never does.
but I
Ripped
feel like the
off.
Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man is basically the same plot as the second one, The Invisible Man Returns, where
Yeah,
it's it's
they really are not all that different. They really came into a formula.
right. Yeah. um, and yeah. So I mean, Abbott and Costello did not meet the creature from the Black Lagoon, and this is our other third movie. And they made some choices in this one, I gotta say.
The creature walks among us.
Yeah, the creature walks among us.
Yeah, they made some. Well, they threw in all the ingredients. You have the obsessed scientist,
Hmm.
and then you have the scientist who's also a humanist.
Yeah.
Don't you want to know things we've never known before? Yes, but we need to know how to be responsible for them, and that's the argument back and forth.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, make There's so many unlikable characters in there, from the abusive, jealous husband
Yeah.
who like gets jealous every time his wife breathes around other people.
Yeah. Right.
And then you have the guy who senses things aren't right in that marriage, and of course he goes right for the let's make out.
Right.
even though she is trying to be an actual good wife despite the verbal abuse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I mean the reasonable scientist is almost like a non-entity in it too.
yeah, he
He's
shows up
not
to give little moral statements, but
right. He's not unlike you don't dislike him as much as the other characters, but there's not that much to like either. So,
no.
um, yeah, this movie kind of answered the question we all basically had from the other movies, I think, which is what if the creature spent most of the time immobilized, um, didn't
In
want to kill
bandages.
people, right? Didn't want to
Didn't
kill
want to kill
people,
people.
had
Stares a
all the
lot.
stares a lot, didn't have all the cool features that
No.
the facial features or body features that we come to know. Wears clothes.
Yep.
This is what audiences were dying for, I guess, when they
Yeah,
read this.
and it's just uncomfortable to say it, but the more they make him look human, the more he looks like a stereotypical Southern version of a black man, just big, hulking, bald, and the comic big lips.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it looks like
and
an old racist cartoon or something. Yeah.
Yeah, just the one scene where, he's coming out of the truck and then the Florida police are all there and they've got rifles, and I'm like, that tracks. That is believable. Um, but then it's just like he kills a mountain lion, but nobody gets that he was doing it to protect the livestock.
Hmm.
He tries to attack um the guy who's abusing his wife.
Yeah, right.
Um, then he's blamed for the death of the would-be rapist. I don't know what to call him else. I know
Right.
character had a name, but I just think he just shows up to invade the private space of the wife. That's
Right.
really his whole function. Other than I think he swims underwater with the spear gun. So he
Yeah,
must be
I
the
mean, I get the
bodyguard
sense,
muscle.
yeah, he was there to be like the assistant that lifts heavy things
Yep.
and keeps an eye on the door so in case the creature wakes up, you know.
Right, right. But then
I
it's
mean,
just, they try to change the creature and it stares pensively at the ocean.
right,
And then it's got a sad ass ending.
right,
He'll be framed for these murders. He's been shot several times. He decides to walk into the ocean, even though knowing now he can't breathe underwater.
right, right.
All
Well,
right.
yeah, I mean, so at the beginning of the movie, you do have classic creature. You get to see
Oh,
him
yeah.
in action, and you get the underwater scenes with Riku
Yep.
Browning swimming with the suit on, um,
Stock
and
animal footage.
yeah, exactly, and the underwater ballet.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the mark of all the creature movies is the underwater swimming scenes where people are graceful and agile.
Right. Well, up until the woman gets pressure sickness, I guess, and passes out and has to be rescued. But
Right. Depth drunk, I think they call it, or something like that. But she
right,
does a little wonderful little solo ballet number.
yeah, yeah,
And the bubbles kind of remind me, like later in the 60s, they do the whirling camera kind of thing when
hmm,
people were under the effects of drugs.
yeah, yeah,
So this sort of was the same kind of effect that you knew, oh, there were bubbles in her brain. Ah.
yeah,
But, she was very graceful in her drunken state.
yeah,
But it is, of course, oh, the woman's in danger, so we have to give up the main thing we were doing to take care of her.
Well, the main thing they were doing was fighting the creature, I think,
Right,
because
right.
yeah, because I mean, at the end of the second one, it's kind of implied that the creature dies. I think that
Yeah,
They
because he
just shoot
can't
him a
breathe
bunch of
underwater.
times.
There's an earlier scene where he tries to escape off the boat
Right.
and he's drowning, and the guy. It's interesting because it's reflects the first fight where the creature is trying to kill the man, and in this fight, the man is trying to save the creature. So I
Mhm.
thought that was a nice little um, mirror effect. But
Yeah.
another thing I can't unsee in these movies, and there's a uh, documentary. I'm forgetting the name, but it basically was talking about how a lot of horror and sci-fi movies provided refuge for actors and behind the scenes people that were known or heavily suspected to be gay and therefore couldn't be employed or couldn't get jobs in the big uh, movie studios, in the big movies.
Right. Right.
Uh, like in the James Whale biopic, there's a great scene where he breaks one of the cardinal rules of Hollywood back then, which is do what you want in your bedroom, but when you show up to the premiere, you show up with someone of the opposite sex,
Right. Right.
as by you. And so he's at one of James Whale, played by Ian McClellan in this movie. He's at this industry function and he sees this guy he knows and he goes, "Oh, well, that's the first time I've seen a woman on your arm," and he's
Right.
very, very out, which
Yeah.
led to his career being blacklisted and um, ruined. But
Yeah.
in the 40s and 50s and even into the 60s, a lot of not only were these people working in these genres of movies, but there was a certain codification that was put into the movies in a kind of if you know, you know sort of way.
Right.
And you see it a lot with even things as subtle as the three of them are about to jump into the water, right? The woman is always going to be wearing a full suit, bathing suit, one
Yeah.
piece. The guys will always be wearing minimal trunks or
Right.
bikini. And there's usually a scene where the one of the guys will put his hand on the other guy's shoulder. Be careful, Ben. You see
Right.
it a lot
Right.
in the first Creature, the Black Lagoon movie, but to people who were living in the closet back then, who would see something like that and kind of get that they weren't alone in the world. It's a
Right. Right.
fascinating documentary.
Yeah. I think I know the one you're talking about. The name's not coming to me though. But the
Right.
biopic you were talking about, that was that Gods and Monsters.
Yes,
Yeah.
with Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser.
Right.
Beau- Beautiful movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that all takes place around the time or the making of Bride of Frankenstein, pretty much. I think, right? Yeah.
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 Yeah, because after
Um,
that, I think he did one more movie, The Invisible Man, and then pretty much his career was
right.
destroyed. James Whale.
Right. Yeah, because when we get to the creature walks among us, the this is the real tail end of Universal horror. Like
It is
it's considered by
the
some to be like
last of
the
their
last one. Yeah,
Universal. Yeah,
because
so maybe
even
it's fitting it walked off into the ocean.
right, let me just walk off into the sea. Yeah, because I
Oh
mean,
man.
important plot point that we graze past here is that apparently the creature is really half man, half fish, and it had gills and lungs.
Right.
Right. So at
And
this
all it
point,
needed was third-degree burns to drop off its scales, its claws, and a couple
uh,
other, like you mentioned earlier, cool features.
all the Millicent Patrick stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting because there's a museum in Connecticut. I don't know if you've ever been in the Witches Dungeon.
No.
It's all like it's like a wax museum with all horror movie stuff,
Okay.
classic horror.
Sweet.
I think the most modern they get is like Dr. Phibes and
Okay.
like yeah. So, but he has the guy that runs it is the grandson of the actor from Henry Hull, the actor from uh, Werewolf of London.
All right.
So the werewolf from that movie, he's the grandson of the werewolf. Um, but he has in the
Sweet.
museum kind of like an original. I think it's a replica, but it might be an original prototype head for the creature, and it's just blank. You know, it's got no scales, it's got no frills, no gills, nothing.
Hmm.
Nelson Patrick really just took that to a completely other level, you know,
Yeah.
and then didn't get credit for it for the longest time, you know.
One wonders
Right, right. And I mean, I
if
think
the
when
reason
that
he didn't get the credit was, or why he had to work in those movies. Do you know
oh
if he was
well,
married?
oh she, that's the thing. It
She.
was
Okay. Sorry.
a woman that designed the
Oh,
creature.
oh.
Yeah,
Well, you just answered your question.
right. Yeah. There was a book that came out sometime in the last decade. The woman from the Black Lagoon, I think, is the name of it, and it's
Oh,
all
cool.
about um, her working on those movies. And she worked for, I believe, she worked for Disney too. She helped design some of the stuff in the Haunted Mansion. Um, but she's, you know, her work was more or less obscured for decades just because she got the shaft. You know,
Right,
nobody
right.
wanted to give the woman credit back then. So um, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the creature is one of the coolest looking things ever filmed. I think the face.
Yeah, in the first two movies, I mean, it's definitely scary, and when it's especially when it's swimming underwater, and they always film it swimming much faster than people, which
Right.
is appropriate.
Yeah. Yep. And
But
the eyes are pretty intense. He's got kind of like the fish eyes, which he also
yeah,
loses in this movie. He just
yeah,
becomes
his eyes become sad eyes.
sad human eyes. Yeah.
God.
So if you ever really wanted to feel bad for the creature, and see a creature that's he somehow gets bigger too when a lot of the stuff gets burned away.
Yeah, once they put him in clothes, he's huge.
Yeah, he was the biggest actor. Like the actor that played him in this one for the land scenes was
Okay.
taller and bulkier than the ones in the other movies.
Yeah, he's definitely bulkier than he was in the water. Well, maybe the enhanced gravity made him retain water.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he just kind of
Because he's
balloons
not
up.
swimming in water, he has to retain it,
Right. Yeah.
This is when you're overthinking this stuff too much.
Well, I mean, he recovered pretty damn quickly from third degree burns all over his body too.
He
So
did.
it's
Well, if you can just drop your scales, which would probably absorb most of the burns.
yeah,
Maybe it's like lizards that, drop their tail
yeah, yeah.
and have to regrow it.
All the scales come off, and the gills are now useless. They're all scarred over, so you can't breathe underwater anymore. So yeah.
Well, that was convenient to the plot of transforming him. Oh, and
Yeah.
look, he has lungs that are ready to kick in, so we don't have to transplant any or,
Well,
any
right,
science we might have to explain or figure, well, how do we get ourselves out of this plot point?
right. Well, I mean, the abusive scientist there, his
Hmm.
whole plan was to try to convert the creature from a water animal to a land animal.
Right,
Um,
because then we could convert people to be able to live in outer space.
right, right.
At
Okay.
the very beginning of the movie, he's talking about, when we go to out there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just add
Well,
a
I
little
mean,
more grandiosity to his overall plan.
well, what my thought was, okay, so if you have a specimen that's the only one of its kind in captivity, the first thing you want to do is alter it biologically so that
Yeah,
it's no
so it's not that anymore, sure.
right. Yeah. Um, but
But then again, they had tried key capturing it in the second movie, and that didn't work. So,
well, I mean, you had a young, what's his face? Oh man, I'm losing the name right now. Clint Eastwood, a young Clint Eastwood as the scientist in the second one. he
Yep,
wasn't he wasn't credited, but yeah, that was him. So um,
that would make a good double feature with Play Misty for me for like roles of Clint Eastwood you wouldn't expect.
it's it's kind of funny when you have some of the. I don't think like a young scientist works that well. It's you need an old wiry haired one. You need the
You do.
Barrymore variety.
John Barrymore, yeah, perfect. You could imagine that guy being a
Or
because he doesn't seem to have. Oh, he also has no use for women.
yeah, right.
So I don't know. Maybe not just probably.
Well, I think Dr. Septimus Pretorius from Bride of Frankenstein is my favorite. He's got to be the best one of the
Oh,
wiry
with
haired.
his miniature animals,
Those miniature people, those little
miniature
homunculi in
people.
the jars.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, just like hanging out in a crypt with a cigar and some brandy, and
Hmm.
that guy had it made.
Yeah,
He knew he knew how to relax. That was one
he did.
mad scientist that knew how to relax.
Yeah, he wasn't really mad as mad scientists go. He was,
Yeah,
you know, what would you
yeah,
call more kook? He's a
yeah.
kooky scientist.
Right, right. Yeah, we do need like a classification scale for
Mhm.
madness in scientists. I
Yeah.
think.
This
Uh,
wasn't John Barrymore's last movie, was it?
I don't know. I actually don't
That
know
would be
what his last
interesting to
movie
find
was.
out because then you could always do a show on movies that were the final movies of otherwise great actors. Like there's Frogs, which was the last Ray Milland movie.
Was it? Oh
Yeah, it was
wow!
also the first movie with Sam Elliott.
Right. It's like the passing of the torch with from Ray
Yeah,
Milland to Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott
yeah,
before he had a mustache too. No mustache now.
right, right.
Yep. Yep.
And
That's a
what was
fantastic movie.
the Street Fighter movie that was the last Raul Julia
Oh yeah. That's just sad.
movie he did after he'd done all those two great Adams Family movies. He does that as a one-off and then dies.
Yeah.
That could not have been his plan. I think this will be my final movie.
Right. Well, and then Lugosi, like we were talking before we started recording, I think Plan 9 from
Yeah,
Outer Space technically would be because he's only in it for a minute, but
right.
it wasn't even meant to be a scene in the film. But
Fortunately, there was a dentist nearby who could fill in.
who had the same widow's peak? Yeah.
Yeah, that was really what was important. Oh my God. Or was it Oliver Reed in Gladiator who died and they had to finish his scenes, mostly filming people from behind that looked a little bit like him.
Huh. I didn't know
Anyway,
that, but yeah, that makes sense. I thought they got everything they needed for the movie, and he died like drinking or something, right? Like
something like that. Yeah, yeah. It
right.
was, I mean, there were just some follow-up shots that had to be
Oh, okay.
done.
But that brings us
Um,
back to Shemp because Shemp died before his contract was up with the Stooges, and they had to put a fake Shemp in there.
I miss the fake Shemp.
Well, they basically recycled footage from some of the older shorts, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, they were just redoing them with Curly Joe and
well,
um,
there are Shemp ones though where they just kind of remixed some old Shemp ones, and then for the newer scenes they had to film, it was mostly just Mo and Larry.
gotcha,
And
gotcha.
and if Shemp was in the scene, he was shot from behind, and he was played by Joe Palma, who was um, he was always in the cast for
Yeah,
that era of Stooges. He would play like a mobster or something that gets
gotcha,
knocked out, or like
gotcha.
one of the goons that they had to fight against. So, um, but you got to keep those contracts. Uh,
Apparently.
what was it,
Apparently, where I
MGM?
work,
Yeah,
we all assume that when we die, we've got another 10 years of employment.
right.
You just have to be on call to walk up the middle, a couple footsteps in the middle of stairs, slam a door,
Yeah,
shout at some point in the middle of the night, you know.
right. Just be a shadow rushing past at some
Right,
point.
right.
When you work in a haunted
Uh,
place, I mean, it's hard to know when your contract is really up.
it is, I know we're getting off topic, but it is one of the more interesting jobs as far as water cooler talk.
Yeah,
You know, it's very little of what did you do this weekend. It was more like, well, I was in the kitchen and I heard a little girl giggle behind me, and I was all alone in the house at the time.
right, right.
So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not as exciting as being invisible or hunting a creature, I guess, but those
oh,
jobs
I
are
don't
in
know. If
short
I could be
supply these
invisible,
days.
I could provide. Well, no, we don't do that at the house. We don't do fake scares. We don't do jump
Right.
scares. We don't, uh, you know, uh, affect the lights from a remote location to make them go on or off or anything like that. It's the house either does it or it doesn't. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but if I could be invisible, no. See, anytime that question is asked, people, I think, tend to go towards I'd sneak into the boys/girls shower. I'd walk
Mm,
into open bank vaults.
yeah. Take over the
Invisibility
world.
invites mischief,
Take over the world is one.
you
Yeah.
know.
That was one I never understood is that in the H.G. Wells book and in the Claude Rains original movie,
Yeah,
the megalomania thing. It's like, well, baby steps, man. You're invisible.
yeah,
Like
baby steps.
I don't know how you're taking over the world just because you're
Right,
invisible.
and you only managed to strangle that guy because the police guard was in a circle looking inward, and none of them looked behind them or heard the door opening or closing.
Right.
And then they all stood there as you were getting strangled. We don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's almost like you're getting strangled by a ghost. But then, if there's snow on the ground, it's a dead giveaway. That was his
That
real, he
is.
didn't think of that part. But
You
uh
don't even have to be an invisible man to get busted that way. There's a old story from Newport about some criminals who broke out of jail, and the first place they went to was a tavern to get drunk.
yeah,
And they were quickly found because, of course, they had left their footprints in the snow,
yeah.
which went right from the jail to the tavern.
Right.
So, again, invisibility possibly overrated, power since it does not make you intangible or silent or
Yeah,
able to float above the ground just enough not to leave footprints. So, the
right.
superpower goes, I'm going to say no thanks.
Yeah. I mean, it also leaves you very vulnerable because it's like, you're naked. So
That is true. So, not a lot of run around outside of summer
yeah.
and
I
pleasant
imagine you
spring
stump
days.
I imagine you'd stub your toes a lot too, though, because you can't really see where your foot is in relation to things.
Yeah, and you'd step on sharp stones and things. Again, the more we deconstruct this, the more I think I'd rather be amphibious and able to swim under the water and breathe underwater as well as above land.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when it comes to invisibility, it would be uh the best case scenario would be like the Martian Manhunter. You could
Yes.
also change your appearance and phase through walls and things like that and
Yeah, I
fly.
mean, invisibility without intangibility is again, no thank you.
Right.
I'll take
Right.
the vaguely Aquaman power set.
Yeah. Aquaman's pretty underrated, I gotta say.
He really is.
But
If you figure out that this guy can swim to the bottom of the ocean and his body is more durable than steel submarines.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
He can see at the bottom of the ocean, so obviously he's not dependent on light
Hmm.
for sensory perception.
Well, he
Grant
probably
Morrison
uses
really
sonar.
went
Yeah,
into some interesting places with Aquaman
yeah,
um, as his power set. And um there's a part of the human brain called the fish brain, or it's basically the stem. And so at one point, Aquaman defeats an enemy just by turning that part of their brain off.
huh,
So he doesn't just talk to fish, but he communicates with that part of the evolutionary brain structure.
interesting. Like the
Yeah, well,
medulla
Grant Morrison was
oblongata.
one of those comic
Yeah,
book writers who read all sorts of shit before he wrote comics, as
yeah,
opposed to comic writers who write comics having only read other comics.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, another one like that obviously is Alan Moore. I was thinking of that with the Invisible Man and such because of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. But
yes,
yeah,
what a terrible death in that
well,
particular
yeah. I mean, you brought up the rape with the Kevin Bacon one, and
yeah, yeah. And there it's followed by eating his corpse, so
right, right, yeah.
go Alan.
Not for the faint of heart. The League of
Right.
Extraordinary Gentlemen books are nothing like the movie.
Not at all. And the creature doesn't make an appearance there either, so what the fuck?
Actually, it does in the later
Does
books.
it?
There's yeah, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen did continue. I think maybe in the Black Dossier they at least make reference to the creature from the Black
Oh, they make
Lagoon.
reference. Okay.
And then there's one that goes forward into the '60s, and
I
there's
do
a
remember
couple
that one.
more.
I also remember this one cartoon. It shows a cereal aisle that has Count Chocula, Frankenberry, the werewolf,
Yeah,
the mummy, and it has the creature of the Black Lagoon pushing a shopping cart, weeping
yeah.
with his head down.
There's a lot of good creature from the Black Lagoon memes and cartoons out there these days. He has a lot. He has staying power.
Thank God.
They had one
And
that
then,
was him on like a can of beans, and it was a creature from the Black Lagoon.
yep.
That
And then in the oh God, the I should have written these notes down. There was the movie, not The Weight of Water,
oh, the Shape of
Cup,
Water.
Shape of Water, which was
Right.
essentially a creature of the Black Lagoon kind of character,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
That was the Guillermo del Toro
or
version
the
of
Abe
it.
Sapien kind of
Yeah,
character who is a more effete
yeah.
version of Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Well, from what I understand, John Carpenter was supposed to do a Creature from the Black Lagoon remake in the '80s, and that never came to be, which is well, that would have been interesting at least.
Yeah,
I
and I
think
guess
Richard.
the idea to relaunch all the Universal films died with Tom Cruise's remake of The Mummy.
Yeah, yep. Well, they got as far as the Invisible Man, and then they were going to go back in time with it and do the Mummy and the Frankenstein and all that. Although, actually, now that I think of it, Guillermo del Toro has a Frankenstein movie coming out soon, I believe. So
All right,
um,
I remain hopeful.
we'll wait and see. Yeah.
I remain more hopeful about that than the Netflix Lizzie Borden series that's coming up. I've
Oh, I
seen some
hadn't
of
heard
the
about that.
casting, and they're making everyone young and beautiful. And
Mm,
the director tends to sexualize his subject matter, so I'm sure we're going to get Lizzie the lesbian,
right.
Andrew the sexual predator, all these theories people have that have never been proven or substantiated.
Hmm.
But, we'll see. Couldn't
Yeah.
be worse than the Christina Ricci movie. Well, actually, it
Well,
could.
the
I should shut up.
Well, there was wasn't there an Elizabeth Montgomery one?
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
pretty good. Again, it's mostly the theories and rumors around the story rather than
right.
historical fact.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
as a 15-year-old watching it on TV and Elizabeth Montgomery starts to disrobe, let's just say it was a turning point moment for me.
yeah. Well, there you go. That was a TV movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
and
Um,
I believe her father wouldn't talk to her after she filmed that movie. And following her death, the Montgomery family did a genealogy, and it was discovered that she and Lizzie Borden were sixth cousins once removed.
yeah, that's wild. I didn't realize that they didn't know that until
Yeah,
afterwards,
she
but
didn't know
yeah.
that while she was filming, so.
Huh.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's kind of spooky.
cool. Well, you have to have me back to talk about spooky stories there.
Yeah, absolutely. We
You
did
have to.
a full as a condition for you being on the show, and from my
That's right.
sponsor, Griffin's Invisibility Serum demands it. So
Right. If you don't know Griffins, you don't know Jack.
yeah. So I think I might know the answer to this, but this is one thing I like to ask in
Okay.
when I cover third movies. But I guess since we have two of them, the original thought I had was, which one did you like better? I think I know the answer already, but I would go with Invisible Woman. I think it was funny.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's it's fun, it's wacky, it's got some good it's got some good comic acting in it, even when the script isn't particularly
yeah,
amazing, but everyone really is willing to be their kind of cartoonish role. The thugs are thuggy but not particularly threatening.
yeah, yeah.
There's a little risque element when, oh, she's naked. Oh,
Right. Especially when the serum starts wearing off at one point. She's
yes.
just a pair of legs, and yeah.
Yep. Yep.
um, and what a pair of legs. Um,
What a paradox. That's right.
um, but okay, then for each one, where do you think they rate in the overall franchise for that particular?
I'd have to watch the later Invisible Man movies, but I'd put it second to The Invisible Man just because that's the adaptation of the book.
Right, right.
Um, although if I had to choose between that movie and The Invisible Man, I would probably pick Invisible Woman.
Yeah,
Um, uh, and the creature, I don't know. I always liked the first movie the best. The second
right.
one was good, but the third one just is there's so much sadness to it and very few likable characters except for the creature,
Yeah, the
really.
creature ends up being the most likable. Maybe that's the moral of the story
Yeah,
is
and
that
and the wife, of course, she's at least, uh, you can feel for her.
yeah,
And
yeah,
at
she's
the end,
just
they
stuck
have
in
a rare thing where she doesn't get together with the humanist scientist, uh, although there's more of a maybe after I've gotten over the morning or something like that.
yeah,
But there's not this immediate, I've been afraid to tell you how I felt. Really?
right.
Because I felt that way too. There's not this like Deus Ex Machina moment at the end.
Yeah,
So
I mean
I
he's
like that.
just
That was actually a little mature for the end of a movie.
he's
But
yeah, he's only concerned about the science. That's the whole thing.
that is
And
true.
in that respect, he kind of reminded me of the professor from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah,
Um,
another kind of sexless character.
right. Which is funny because the original Black Lagoon was the same as the Gilligan's Island Lagoon. It was the same set.
That's it.
Yeah.
They tried a Creature of the Black Lagoon meets the Gilligan's Island cast, but it was just bloodshed. Little buddy, little buddy.
Somehow Gilligan was the only one that survived.
That's right. He and Marianne, and now they have to remake the human race.
For all they know. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was fun. It's good to
Yeah,
talk.
let's do this again.
Yeah, we'll do this again and talk haunting workplace. So
Awesome.
all right.
All right.
Thanks, man.
I'll talk to you later.